Power to the truth. This is Margo. This is Wednesday, May 22nd, 2019, 7:18 p.m. Pacific Time, United States of America. So I've been investigating this area up in Canada because we've seen some really extremely high sudden releases of quite a few greenhouse gases, noxious gases, whatever you want to call them, up here in the last few days. And I've done a detailed report, and it will be uploaded for my members on my Subscribe Star channel. And if you're not familiar with that, I recommend people go over there and check it out. It's kind of like Patreon. And if you'd like to support my work, for $5 a month, you can become a member over there and have access to all of the posts over there. And I don't have different levels and different amounts for different things. It's just $5 a month for everything. And I created it as a safe place for people to come, and also a way that I can go into deeper research and go into more spiritual messages, but also present the deeper research over there as well. And so I've done a detailed report about what is going on up there, and I've found some interesting stuff. So if you're interested in that, my detailed report will be over there shortly. But we're seeing, I'll just give you a sneak peek. This is carbon monoxide from today. We can see if off the charts, and compared to the rest of the world is like nothing in the rest of the world compared to that. Formaldehyde, we have lots of high formaldehyde. Methane, now that's total column. It is showing up in total column over there, but at surface level you'll see, well, you have to go through the different days, but it's a high release up there. Nitrogen dioxide is showing very high up there. Ozone for surface level, look at that, higher than anywhere else on the whole planet. And then I did show sulfur dioxide yesterday. I was talking about the Arctic, but there's been some high release of sulfur dioxide in the last few days up there too, and that's what caught my eye. So I just wanted to bring that to people's attentions. Now we're going to do a short report tonight on earthquakes, and the Tremor Map has been updated. The old map is no longer here. They've updated it because apps weren't working right and everything. So this is the new Tremor Map from the same people, pnsn.org, and it stands for Pacific something. Pacific Northwest Seismic, oh here it is, Pacific Northwest Seismic Network. That's what it stands for. And so I will update the link below for the Tremor Map. So this is what it looks like now, and it gives you a lot more options on what you can search. You can do a bunch of filters. You can add a geographic filter. You can search by date or date range here. You can filter it out by time, color by time, color by magnitude, heat map. Oh, let's look at heat map. Well, we can see the hot area. It's up here by Seattle. just like what was in my article last night. And for the last 24 hours, they're showing 173. So it's hot up in Seattle. Let's look at color by time. So I'm assuming that the yellow ones, those are the more recent ones. And you click on the little dot and it gives you all the info, longitude and latitude, and then the energy magnitude. Now, I'm assuming since these are tremors, so these are smaller than earthquakes, this is not a 1.6 magnitude earthquake. It's the magnitude of the energy for the tremor. So I just now, was getting all my pages loaded up for my show tonight and discovered that it's a new tremor map. And here it is by time with the color. So again, like the red is the more recent and the blue is the oldest. And if you just want to see them all together with them all red, you can do that. I like the heat map myself. And then we can see a little bit of purple down here in the Salem, to the west of Salem. So it doesn't break it out by hour, it doesn't look like. I liked it where you could see however many in 3 hours and 6 hours and all that, but they don't have that anymore. You can also download your search, and so if you want to use the data for reporting later on, you can certainly do that. So there's that. So now let's get into our earthquakes. Since I've already done a long show, that's, I really can't do 2 long shows back to back. So here we are with USGS for all magnitudes worldwide for the last 24 hours. We've got 244 earthquakes on the map. Of those, 26 are 2.5 magnitude or higher. So 2.9 in British Virgin Islands is about to come off the map at 7:37. Now this one over here in the Netherlands, we're going to start over here. We don't see him. This is the first time I've seen one in the Netherlands since I've been reporting on earthquakes. I started in December, so I'm still a little bit new at it. So, but this is the first one I've seen in the Netherlands since December. This was a 3.2 magnitude near Winsum, Netherlands, and this came in at 8:48 last night Pacific time. And these times I'm going to give you are all Pacific time because that's my time zone. We can see it's on the coast there, but it's on land. That would be big enough to feel. Probably didn't cause any damage, but you could feel it. Next, let's stay on land coming around. Here's a 4.4 near Fek, India. This happened at 5:55 this morning. It was 103 kilometers deep. Coming on around 4.7 Setotok, Indonesia at 4:50 this morning. Here's a 4.8 Sarangani, Philippines at 3:52 this morning. .1 Hihifo, Tonga at 11:10 this morning. 4.6 south of the Fiji Islands at 4:53 this morning. Very deep, 489 kilometers deep. And the deep ones are what will make the tectonic plates move across the planet. Next, we have a 5.4 southeast of Easter Island, right on this red line. This one happened this morning at 10:36. Then 4.6 near Rio Bueno, Chile at 9:23 last night. 4.4 near Lautaro, Chile at 3:42 this afternoon. Then up here in Central America, a 4.4 on land near Santa Lucia, Coatzacoalcos, Guatemala. This happened last night at 9:13 p.m. Then 4.7 near Paredon, Mexico at 2:16 this afternoon. Then out here in the ocean, 4.7 near Tomatlan, Mexico at 2:55 this afternoon on this red line. Let's go on up. We've got 2 in Baja of 2.5 near Ensenada, Baja at 1:26 this morning, and a 2.5 near Puebla, Baja at 1:23 this morning. So those are getting on up there. So I think that's all of our international quakes. So let's go to Hawaii next. We've got 4 here today, a 1.9, 1.9, 2.0, and 1.8. So that's a lower number, but still showing movement there. Now in the Caribbean, we've got 7 here today, a 2.9, 1.3, 1.7, 2.4, 3.0, 2.2, and 3.5. So those are getting up there a little higher. Not enough to do damage, but definitely showing movement. Now in Alaska, we have 65 here today, and Alaska averages between 50 and 100 a day. Let's see how many of those were 2.5 magnitude or higher. 4. There's a 3.1 near Nikiski, 2.8 Big Lake, which is Anchorage, 2.8 Kobuk, and a 2.7 Shishmaref. Now, when we look at all magnitudes, we've got a line going up. Here's this 2.0. Here's a 2.0 at Shishmaref. This one happened at 10:56 last night. 2.7 Shishmaref at 9:06 last night. And then here's one in the ocean here, 1.8 near Noatak at 4:51 this morning at 0 kilometers depth, so right at the surface. So that's in the Bering Sea. Or, well, it's actually past, okay, it's past the Bering Strait. So, yeah, it's a Bering Sea. Chukchi Sea, okay. I guess that would be the Chukchi Sea. Alright. Anyway, gotta get my seas all straightened out. Kobuk has 18 here today. The largest one was that 2.8, then here's a 2.2, and the rest are in the 1s range. it looks like. That's a big mining area. Here up at Coctovic, we've got a couple of small ones, 2 and a 1.9. Then we can see them just moving down through the state. Here's some on the edge, a 1.4 circle. Now up here in Canada, this is still Alaska territory, but anyway, it's next to Canada right here is a 1.7 Petersburg. Now, let's move to the lower 48. We're going to start in Tennessee. We've got a 1.4 near Ridgely, Tennessee. This is right in the middle of this San Andreas hazard zone. This came in at 2:18 this morning. Next was a 3.1 near Trinidad, Colorado at 8:55 last night. It was right on the border between New Mexico and Colorado. It's in the mountains there. Right there. Next, Utah has 2 at Milford, a 0.3 and a 0.5. So that's kind of quiet. Now in the Yellowstone area, we had 7 today. Let's start with this quarry blast. Right on time at 12:02. They always happen in 12:02 or 12:03. A 1.6 magnitude quarry blast near Butte, Montana. So 7, so they must be stacked up. Here's a 1.6 at Manhattan, 1.6, 2.2, 1.1, and a 2.6. That's the highest one. And then we had a 2.0 at Dillon. So Manhattan wins the prize for the little cluster going on there today. Next, up here in the Pacific Northwest, we already looked at the Tremor Map, so let's change it to normal. And we can see that they're clustered up here in the Seattle area, and then down here in to the southwest of Salem, and then to the southwest of Eugene. Right there, see? And when you run your mouse over it, it lights up over here. Oops, still learning this. See? When you run your mouse, it lights up red over on the right. Alright, so earthquake-wise, we have a 1.7 near Leavenworth, Washington at 4:43 this morning at a minus 0.6 kilometer depth, so that was up in the mountain. Here's a 2.3 magnitude explosion, that's large, near Lapine, Oregon at 11:26 this morning. And I do believe that the explosions cause more earthquakes. I do believe that. Well, this is interesting as we come down into California. This is Lake Almanor, and we've been talking about the dams and the reservoirs and stuff in California. We've been talking about the Oroville Dam. in the reservoir, and a lot of attention has been focused here in the last month or so. And by the way, the lake is rising now. I'm not going to spend a lot of time reporting on it. The lake level is right now, as of 7 o'clock, was at 891.16. So I've left all the links below if people want to track it for yourselves. But there's so much drama around this. I'm not going to get into speculations and all the drama. And I've done the reports that I can with the information that we have, and everything else is speculation. So I'm not going to do that. And there's Oroville there, and then Lake Almanor. They have a dam here, and this is on the North Fork of the Feather River Dam, and when they let the water go from here, it feeds down into Lake Oroville. But PG&E put out a report earlier this week that they are not going to be releasing water from Lake Almanor or Bucks Lake, that they are going to be running the lake levels high this summer because of high precipitation this year. So you can think what you want from that, but the dam here at Lake Almanor, it was first built in 1926, and then it was refurbished in, I think it was 1968 or something like that. So it's old too. And so that, I'm sure that lake level is rising as well. And as these lake levels rise, water is heavy. And this is a geologically active area. All of Northern California, basically all of California, a lot of Nevada is geologically active because of the way, with all the faults and everything. And so when you have all that water stacking up and not going anywhere, and the plates are used to a certain amount, and then it starts piling up, then it puts more weight on the plates, and I would expect to see earthquakes. I would. And we have 6 here today near Lake Almanor, and this one is right next to the road. Now the dam for Lake Almanor is down here. It's called Canyon Dam, and I think it's like 130 feet high or something like that. But this earthquake was a 1.6 right here next to where it's piling up all the water, and this came in this afternoon at 1:47 p.m. And then, but before all of that, we had 5, and these are about 18 miles from the lake. And this, oh, by the way, this is a man-made lake. When they first dammed it up, it was a meadow before, but they dammed it up. 1926. Well, the first dam was a few years before that, but then they actually built a more solid one in 1926. That was the beginning of the dam system in California and trying to control the water throughout the state. So it's going to backfire on them. It's going to backfire because you can't mess around with Mother Nature for all these years and it not backfire. And they're about to see some backfiring coming, I'm afraid. Alright, so these are all near Mineral, California, And it started at 8:40 last night. Here's a 0.6. I mean, these are small, but it's showing movement. Here's a 0.7 at 8:41, 0.5 at 8:44, 0.6 at 11:06, and a 0.8 at 6:25 this morning. So those all happened between 8:40 last night and 6:25 this morning. And then this one happened right on the edge of the lake. So that concerns me. And there was a video that was put out by this guy. His YouTube channel is Plain Truth and then the number 2. And he talks about Lake Almanor and how it feeds into Oroville. So look it up. He just put it out yesterday or so. Very interesting video. So I expect more. I expect to see more earthquakes with this water piling up like it is. I'm not surprised. And then down here, now Lake Tahoe does not have a dam, but it was formed as it was an old volcano. That's how it was formed. It's just a big crater filled up. And so the water flows out of Lake Tahoe into the Truckee River, which comes down here. And a branch of it flows out to Pyramid Lake. So here we go. Here's a 0.9 Truckee, 0.8 Truckee, and a 1.1 Incline Village. And these are all up in the mountains. This is up in the mount near Mount Rose. It's north of Lake Tahoe. Then we've got a 0.7 near Dayton, to the east of Carson City. And then we've got this activity starting up at Hawthorne again. We've got 11 here. The largest one, it looks like, is this 1.0. Then we've got some more scattered around at Hawthorne. Then we've got this 1.2 magnitude explosion at Gabbs, and 1.4 magnitude earthquake at Gabbs. That one came in at 3:47, and the explosion happened at 3:48. So which happened first, the earthquake? Oh wait, the explosion happened at 3:38. The earthquake happened at 3:47. So you tell me. Okay, class, here's the test. Do explosions cause earthquakes? True or false? Explosions cause earthquakes. The answer to that is true, and we see it right here. Here's another explosion, a 1.5 magnitude explosion near Nellis Air Force Base at 11:12 this morning. Here's a 0.9 at Alamo. Here's a 1.5 at Alamo. Well, only 2 over there. And we've got a couple more down here. So now let's come down this east side of California. We've got 2 at Mammoth Lakes, it looks like. Unless they're stacked up. No, we've only got 2. A 1.3 and a 0.2 there. And then there's a 0.9 at Lone Pine. Coso Junction has 20 today. So that's an uptick. These are small. Here's this 1.7. That looks like the largest one there. Let's see what's 2.5 magnitude and higher here. 3.3? How did I miss the 3.3 at Coso Junction? I guess it was covered up, and I just zipped through the list here. Here it is, 3.3. Well, that's an uptick. That came in at 11:53 last night. And then we got these here, Little Lake. That's the same area. I'm counting them all right here. Next, another explosion of 1.8. I just get angry at these. I get angry seeing this stuff. Here's a 1.5 at Lake Isabella. 1.4 Lake Isabella. 1.6 Bodfish. 1.1 Tehachapi. Here's a 2.0 at Ludlow. And now in Southern California, we have 10 here today. So that's not very many. Here's another quarry blast. Here's a 1.2 magnitude quarry blast at Home Gardens. Here's a 2.7 at Ocotillo Wells, and a 1.4 right next to it. I just wonder what the Earth would have been like if we hadn't done what we've been doing. If we had developed more along the spiritual lines rather than the technological lines. Here's a 0.1 at Parkfield. 1.3 Pinnacles. I imagine it could have been beautiful for a long, long time. Here's a 0.6 Ridgemark. 1.1 Hollister. Here's another quarry blast, a 1.3 Loyola. Here's a 0.9 at the San Francisco Zoo. That's kind of scary. I imagine that affects the animals. You don't want them running out. 59 at the geysers today. That's an uptick. 3.0 is the largest one there. So there's that. What's this one that just came in? 2.8 at Puerto Rico. That's getting up there. So I think that's a wrap for the earthquakes. And I do believe we are in the end times. And we're seeing the witness of we're here witnessing the end times. And since we've got the World Wide Web, we're watching the end times. We're watching it all unfold with the calamities and the wars and the rumors of wars and the earth changes and the earthquakes and the floods and the droughts and the famines. And there are going to be famines. By this fall, there will be famines. Because the farmers are just not able to plant their crops. There's so much flooding everywhere. It's unbelievable. So I'd like to share another chapter from the Bible tonight. I'm enjoying reading Proverbs, frankly. I like to bring things back to a spiritual perspective, and especially for people who are not familiar with the Bible, and it uplifts me to read it too. So we're going to read Proverbs Chapter 3 tonight. Proverbs are about wisdom. My son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck. Write them upon the table of thine heart. Let's read that one again. Let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Bind them about thy neck, and write them upon the table of thine heart. I like that. So shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of God and man. Mercy and truth. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord, and depart from evil. It shall be health to thy navel, and marrow to thy bones. Honor the Lord with thy substance, and with the firstfruits of all thine increase. So shall thy barns be filled with plenty, and thy presses shall burst out with new wine. My son, despise not the chastening of the Lord, neither be weary of his correction. For whom the Lord loveth he correcteth, even as a father the son in whom he delighteth. Happy is the man that findeth wisdom, and the man that getteth understanding. For the merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver, and the gain thereof than fine gold. She is more precious than rubies, and all the things thou canst desire are not to be compared unto her. Length of days is in her right hand, and in her left hand riches and honor. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. She is a tree of life to them that lay hold upon her, and happy is every one that retaineth her. The Lord by wisdom hath founded the earth, by understanding hath he established the heavens. By his knowledge the depths are broken up, and the clouds drop down the dew. My son, let not them depart from thine eyes. Keep sound wisdom and discretion. So shall they be life unto thy soul, and grace to thy neck. Then shalt thou walk in thy way safely, and thy foot shall not stumble. When thou liest down, thou shalt not be afraid. Yea, thou shalt lie down, and thy sleep shall be sweet. Be not afraid of sudden fear, neither of the desolation of the wicked when it cometh. For the Lord shall be thy confidence, and shall keep thy foot from being taken. Withhold not good from them to whom it is due, when it is in the power of thine hand to do it. Say not unto thy neighbor, Go and come again, and tomorrow I will give, when thou hast it by thee. Devise not evil against thy neighbor, seeing he dwelleth securely by thee. Strive not with a man without cause, if he have done thee no harm. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. For the froward is abomination to the Lord, but his secret is with the righteous. The curse of the Lord is in the house of the wicked, but he blesseth the habitation of the just. Surely he scorneth the scorners, but he giveth grace unto the lowly. The wise shall inherit glory, but shame shall be the promotion of fools. So I will end it there for tonight. And I'm praying for everybody. And until next time, God bless you. Go in peace and good night.